Hey everyone, it's Flak. I'm out in California for EA Play, and obviously I'm a little bit behind the ball on getting this video out to you, but the trailer came out when I was on the airplane, so not much I can do about that, but DICE did just drop a massive trailer for Battlefield 5's Tides of War Chapter 4 called Defying the Odds, and it finally looks like things are hitting full swing. The trailer showcases the upcoming Lysander and Merida maps, plus two other maps, Province and the Lofoten Islands. Oh, and of course, a reimagined Operation Freaking Metro. There's also a tease on Chapter 5's Pacific Theater, which means there's a ton to cover in this video. So, let's look at every little detail in the new trailer and dig in, because here's what you might have missed. The trailer begins with an overview of all the maps announced in the video. For Merida, it's supposed to be focused on verticality. There are plenty of buildings here and high points like this castle or monastery. In other shots, we see a bell tower. Everything looks pretty tight-knit, perfect for some hectic infantry gameplay. We know there will at least be some vehicles on the map from this shot, which reveals a Kubelwagen with a new camouflage. Far in the distance, I think we can actually see what look like DFS-230 gliders being towed. Next, let's check out Province, set in southern France. Hidden amongst the rows of lavender, you can spot a Westland Lysander Aircraft. Now, I'm not sure if this is just a prop, but the airplane did serve an important role in World War II. It could take off and land on a dime, and thus the airplane was used to insert operatives behind enemy lines. Province looks to be infantry only, with frenzied gameplay on another small map. Meanwhile, the Lofoten Islands were raided several times by British commandos during World War II. The map here showcases several interconnected islands in a layout very similar to a classic Battlefield map, Wake Island. In fact, this island and bridge are dead ringers for part of the original Wake Island map. We can also spot a shark in the gameplay and what appears to be a massive German battleship in the background. We only see infantry combat in the trailer, but I don't see this map working without at least some light vehicles, given the number of long bridges on this map. For our first introduction to Lysander, we travel to North Africa. The map is sprawling, and it reminds me of the Battlefield 1 map, Foul Fortress. Gameplay shows tanks will play a big role in winning the day here, and one of the most noticeable features of Lysander is the fact that planes, or at least the British ones, spawn on an airfield instead of in the sky. I know this has been a long-requested feature from a lot of you, so we'll see how it's implemented here. Just a side note, I love that you can actually see the flames spitting out of the Spitfire exhaust when starting the engine. In this shot, we're also able to see a rather impressive waterfall. This shot gives us our first glimpse of Operation Underground, Battlefield 5's take on Metro. The signage in the background here indicates it's set in either Germany or Austria, not France, which is an interesting twist. There are a few propaganda posters while this locked door reads "No Smoking," and it does remind me a little bit of that Fort de Vaux Easter egg door, so we'll see what all that's about. The railcars do appear to be destructible to some degree, which is going to change the nature of this map compared to how it was in previous games. The unfinished section of the metro appears to be faithfully reproduced, while in this flooded generator room, there's some sunlight above, which has me wondering if the area is actually accessible to players. Lastly, for maps, there was a tease for a Chapter 5 map at the end of the trailer. Based on the topography of the map and the infamous black sands that you can see right here, it's likely that this shot takes place on Iwo Jima. In the background, we can see all manner of ships, but perhaps the most compelling are the carriers. If DICE did build carriers for Battlefield 5, I think there's a really good chance we'll see carrier assault here in the future. If we bring the video back here slightly, we can actually see that there is a cave on this presumed Iwo Jima map, which is going to produce a unique experience if it's available to players. Meanwhile, the Japanese soldier here is wearing an appropriate uniform for the time, and I love that hand-tied helmet strap. He also appears to be holding a type of Arisaka rifle. And speaking of other weapons, there are quite a few visible in the trailer. One of the most noticeable can finally be spotted in this scene. That's actually the long-awaited M1 Garand. If there was any doubts about its identity, they were squashed with this sound. The M1 Garand featured an 8-round en-bloc clip. Some of the other weapons include the M2 Carbine, and we can actually see a cool visual customization option showcasing a bayonet strapped to the gun in its sheath. The M2 used 15 or 30 round magazines and was select fire, either single fire or fully automatic, with a fire rate of around 900 rounds per minute. There's also the silenced M1911 in a scene on Provence, which should excite a few people. Another silenced pistol, the Well Rod, appears on the tees for the Lofoten Islands. It's neat to see DICE got the reload and chambering of the round right, as the Well Rod was pretty unique as a bolt-action pistol. Meanwhile, the M1 Bazooka can also be spotted on the same map. In the Metro tees, we get our first look at the Italian MAB-38 SMG, which is slated to arrive soon. It had a fire rate of around 600 rounds per minute, and the magazines were manufactured in 10, 20, 30, or 40-round increments. Also spotted was the short-barreled Matson, a type used by the Dutch leading up to World War II. It used a 30-round magazine and spit lead at a pedestrian 400 rounds per minute. The particular skin here for the Matson features a ton of detail, and it actually looks battle damaged, since the knob on the charging handle here has actually splintered. Lastly, we can spot a new gadget, which appears to be a flamethrower. We don't get a good look at the device, but it appears handheld with a very limited use time. This means it's very likely the German Einstoß Flammenwerfer 46, which was designed as a close-quarters single-use weapon with a burn time of about half a second. One more final thing to mention. I love the introduction of Metro in the trailer, since it mimicked the original 99 Problems trailer for Battlefield 3, and it definitely kickstarted the hype train, at least for me. There were quite a few new visual customization options in the trailer, like patches and emblems, but I'm not going to cover those in detail here. However, I am very much interested in what you thought of the trailer. What do you think about the maps, weapons, and the teaser for Chapter 5? Tell me down below in the video comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you leave a like, share, and subscribe. You can check out all of my social media down below in the video description. If you do decide to subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell to get updates on the latest Battlefield 5 news. And as always, thanks for watching.